wanted to show up in Kamkunji. He had promised, I'm coming to
Actually, Kenyans were not taking that very kindly. They were thinking Baba has been sent by the state to go and put people in a controlled environment and have a conversation with them from a controlled environment where Kenyans wanted to be on the streets to vent. If you look at the 10-point agenda that Baba had signed with this administration as the reasons upon which they would have a working partnership, more than 5 of those things have not happened. There was a declaration that they were going to respect human life. That is not happening. In fact, after they have signed, very many young people have died. There was a declaration of an end to abductions, that young people are not going to be abducted in the manner and form in which they were being abducted. That thing is still going on. They had signed an MOU with this administration saying that this government is going to protect and to respect human life and the sanctity and dignity of human life. That has not happened. In fact, if anything, if you see what happened in Ngong yesterday, very many people were killed. We saw Subarus. People need to look for those photos. About 10 of them following each other, and each had not less than 3 men, and they came out all masked, all covered. You couldn't see what wamevaa kofia, and the only weapon they had was an AK-47. How do you send people into a riot with weapons of war? Because an AK-47 is a weapon of war. The only place it belongs, it's in the battlefield. So they were sent with weapons of war to demonstrators who had no weapons in their hands. And we saw how they were shooting. Some were even aiming at people in the houses up there. Ngong became a bloodbath. So Baba, as you're trying to address people in Kamukunji, just know that the bulk of what you signed up for has not been respected. What do you do as an honorable person if you sign an MOU with someone and they don't honor it?
It was scripted that he sways the multitude that will be in the CBD to Kamkunji. And but it worked against him in this manner. One, the country now knows that Baba can no longer mobilize Kenyans the way he enjoyed in the past. Because ordinarily you would see the country quiet and everyone headed to Kamkunji. That did not happen. Baba in his press conference says roadblocks were all over and he couldn't get to Kamkunji. Baba, as we know him, there's no wall he can't get through if he means it is Maandamano Day. You all know, you all have seen what has happened in the past. He is one guy that you can't stand in his way, let alone his way, his supporters' ways, if they mean this is the day we are going to have a conversation with Baba. Therefore, in as much as Baba wanted to help calm or distract the plan that demos yesterday, he was left with an egg on his face. You know, for someone of his stature to have come out and said publicly that we will be at Kamkunji grounds, and then at the end of the day he holds a press conference somewhere in a fancy hotel and tells people he couldn't get there, and now ask Kenyans for a conclave or something. You know, he takes me back to the election of the Pope. You know, Kenyans, like Fanimambo says, are not amused by what Baba is getting himself into, and more so getting himself deeper into it, because at this point people expect that he will be, as he says, Kenyans have the right to demonstrate, because that is what he has held constantly since he came into the broad-based government. He's not left that line, but he's not acting the part, the part where he is out there telling government, let us organize on how these people can have a peaceful demonstration and not barricade all roads leading to people's offices and people's places of fending for themselves. I saw a lady suffering in town. She's the only person around the CBD that could be called in on an emergency situation, but she's been prevented from accessing the office, and no one else is there. It is a hotel that runs on that hosts people who go there. So a government that decides, on one hand, threatens people, its civil servants, to go to work, and then ends up erecting roadblocks at 3-4 a.m. in the morning, preventing the same citizens to go to work, putting them through the turmoil of having, it rained, it drizzled heavily yesterday. It was a very cold morning.
Yes, very cold.
So you can imagine you coming, you are dropped off by a matatu unwillingly.
Yes.
At a point you did not plan, you would alight.
Yep.
And then now you have to face the cold. And then you have to trek. While trekking, every other entry point you thought you would make into town, you are told there's no entry point here.
This is a very straightforward message to Raila Amolo Odinga, wherever you may be, Baba. I wish to take you back to the 10-point agenda that you signed with UDA and the government and said that this is what will guide your working way forward. Number 2 was an issue about inclusivity in all public life. State House haikunajengwa kanisa. Is there inclusivity? Is are Kenyans in agreement with that? So Baba, as you think about whether you want to continue to be this government, I just want to tell you that the number 2 agenda you signed for was inclusivity. 1.2 billion taxpayers' money is being spent. Were you included in that? Baba, you signed something that number 4 was promoting and protecting the livelihoods of young people. The businesses of young people are being destroyed, and to a large extent by goons. The first ever Gen Z demos that happened in 2024 were very peaceful. Largely, you would see young people come to town in their thousands. They would even occupy parliament and not a single car was stoned. Right now, livelihoods are being destroyed. Supermarkets are being burnt down, and we know who has been sending these goons. Baba, do you still want to continue being in this agreement? Number 6 was right to peaceful assembly and protest. Baba, there is no right to peaceful assembly. There is no right to peaceful protest. And you are still in this administration and you signed an agreement. Baba, a lot of money has been borrowed. The national debt was number 7 on your agreement. A lot more money has been borrowed since you signed this on the 7th of March 2024. You are still part of this administration. Please tell us what is going on. Baba, you promised that you're signing this agreement if there's going to be a fight against corruption. Between March and now, we have seen how many corruption scandals have come up. Finally, you talked about stopping the wastage of public resources and promote government efficiency. Baba, there is 1 billion being allocated to State House every day for construction. State House is in a constant state of construction. We're not even mentioning the church now. There's a lot of money that is going in the wrong places. You signed this cooperation agenda on the 7th of March. Are you still part of that cooperation agenda? Is it being respected? Finally, Baba, you talked about protecting the sovereignty of the people, the rule of law, and constitutionalism. Where do we see constitutionalism when Subarus are sent with weapons of war, AK-47s, to just shoot people who participated in Maandamano? Where do we see sovereignty of the people when they wake up one morning and the drones of them have been abducted? Where do we see sovereignty of the people when Diangoi comes back shaven na amenyolewa na makasi na tunaambua he abducted himself? So Baba, out of the many things you signed, 5 have been disrespected. Are we still part of this arrangement? That is a very clear message to Baba himself. Kenyans are saying we are not fighting you, because there are people who are thinking I'm here to fight Baba. Kenyans are just saying we are here to ask him whether he's aware that out of the things he signed, 50% of them have been disrespected.
And the Baba was here, he'll be saying,
and most unfortunately, Jeff, one of his member of the member of parliament from his party, Mama Esther Passaris,
yes,
has gone ahead on one of those key agendas, key pointers, the right to demonstrate,
yes,
picket. He has gone ahead with uphill to Parliament to try and control or manage how people exercise that right in the Constitution. That is from Baba's. I listened to Pasari's defending herself, saying that is a private member's motion. The president did not know. He read it from the press, and I don't know if even Baba as well did not know. But we all know that that is not possible. Under his watch, on top of the questions for the member has sent to Baba, under Baba's watch, a member of his party has gone to Bunge with a bill, a motion that seeks to clamp down on.
Maybe we can help you on that. What has happened is we put up a lot of noise about it. In fact, we made such noise about it. And the good thing is we know Esther Passaris does not have a very thick skin. So she was not able to handle the amount of noise we made. She has since withdrawn. She has written to Parliament saying that she wants that to be held so that there is proper public discussion about it. But one of the things we had told Esther Passaris was very clear. We had told her, hata hatuna shida na hii bill, sinafaa kwenda public participation. Every MP akuje nayo kwa ground, afanye hall participation. Kama ni kwetu Dagoretti South, my MP akuje nayo, ailete kwa hall, atuite sisi wote, tumwambie what we think about that bill. I think out of the 290 constituencies, very few MPs would have gone back with any paper of that. Ingeraruliwa yote huko, ingeishia huko yote. So that would not have happened. That's a bill that was not going to see the light of day in this country. I'm glad that Esther Passaris has read the mood on the ground. She has listened to the people. She has found a very clever way to say that hii kitu nimeachana nayo, because all she has said is she's put it on hold. She's waiting for there to be a conversation about it. But there's something critical that we also need to talk about. The women who lost their children decide to go to the Kenya National Human Rights Commission, and they want to have a conversation about how they are going through life without the children. And because this is a very emotive issue, someone decides that that press conference should not go on. I think the question and the answer should be, who is this who has a problem with women who have lost their children airing their grievances about losing their children? Can you imagine a human being who sends goons to go and beat up women and disrupt a press conference of women who have come to say that we have lost our children? I thought that we had gone low, but then the people who are doing this have shown us that they have an incredible depth for low. In fact, they took us even lower and a lot more deeper. I wish to condemn those acts, and I wish to say, may whoever was used for that mission and whoever did that mission never know peace. I don't know whether they understand what it feels like for a mother to bury their child and to lose their child, and for others to say they do not know where their children are. I think this was a democratic right for these women to just come and hold a press conference. I mean, who was harmed by a press conference? To say my name is so and so, and I lost my son and I lost my daughter, and their name is so and so, and these ones are missing and these ones are dead. That was a very good initiative that needed to have happened. But goons were sent, and I'll tell you, some of them, when the photos came out, and I could see people from my constituency saying this is so and so, anakuanga kwa matatu za place fulani, this is so and so ni wa stage fulani. Very many of those young people again were from my constituency, Dagoretti South. It's unfortunate and it's sad. The problem that our politicians do not know, and I wish to tell them today kama wananisikia, these goons, by the way, hawananga siri. Once they were paid, walienda kukunywa. When they went to their favorite joints, you know that secret of Mulevi, jana tumefanya hivi na usiambie mtu. They told everybody, and everybody who went home said ni fulani na usiambie mtu. As we speak right now, if you go to any bar within Dagoretti South, those goons have actually said who sent them, and they have said how much money they were given and where they were being given from. Now the funny thing is, when we posted those things, our politicians are not clever. The bloggers who usually blog for them came to fight us. So again, it points to them. So I wish to tell you, politicians, what you did was an all-time low. It was stupid of you. It was unacceptable of you. You cannot send young men to beat up women for speaking about the loss of their children. And I wish to tell you that what you have done, Kenyans have taken note, and they have written it in their hearts in very, very, very bold letters. They will never forget that law. It was one of the worst things that has ever happened.
This would be my endeavor as the head of state, that in the last Mandamano, the numbers that were out there said maybe 10 people lost their lives. In this Mandamano, I want, as if someone has to, God forbid, God forgive us, if someone has to lose a life, it must not be the 10 people that we lost. Exactly. As in, every other day, wake up with a resolve to deal with the situation and reduce the casualties or the fatalities that were registered in the previous.
Correct.
That way, of course, it is not even imaginable to speak of reducing the number of people who are dying. You are supposed to be saying prevent the deaths. We lost 10. We should not lose anyone in the coming Mandamano. If someone gives such an order to the people going out to manage and control the crowds and the protesters, and if someone reprimands them every other time they bring a report and they say, oh, bahati mbaya ama kwa kupenda ama someone was shot and they died, you reprimand them. I am very sure in the coming event they will be very cautious if someone was reprimanded. Unfortunately, I am expecting to hear praises given to the police that were out there yesterday that managed to prevent people from accessing the CBD,
right,
and the good job they did. As they praise, there is someone whose child was shot, na labda risasi ilifika kwa nyumba, they were not even in the street.
Correct.
And they're hearing you say the police did a good job.
Uko
city mortuary, you know.
Yeah.
I do not know how that makes them feel. It is good that you have to stand with your troops, but must you come out and rub it in the faces of those who have lost just because you need to stand by your troops?
It was aired. It was a shoot to kill order, and it has never been retrieved. And actually, we actually did see people who came up with weapons of war, and they were shooting people, and people actually did die. So why would I want to go to the streets when there's a shoot to kill order? I don't think that this administration understands what it means to give a shoot to kill order against its own citizens. So there's a government that is at war with its own people, and it's a very unfortunate and sad war. But also there was something else that was happening that Kenyans may want to forget about, and I'm happy one of us moved to court, and the courts have given orders, and there will be a court case to hear that matter, when the head of state decided that it is okay to build a church at State House
inside.
It's worth 1.2 billion. They said it's a very high capacity church, I think 800 seater or something.
And he's using his own money.
There's something that Kenyans don't understand, and I want us to understand that we have a very interesting occupant at State House, because it's a tenancy agreement. William Ruto is in State House courtesy of our votes for 5 years. Have you ever seen the tenant who's got the audacity to change the roof of your house without having a consultation with the landlord? You just wake up and decide that this roof doesn't look good, I want a flat roof. Yet you're a tenant in that place for 5 years, and you have not consulted the landlord, you change the roof. And then this tenant is very hostile. They decide, you know what, I'm going to actually now build a church in your compound. And it's back 2.5 years of my tenancy, and I'm going to use my personal money to build a church in your compound, and it's going to be a very big church. And that church, even if he uses his own money, NEMA needed to have been involved for the environmental impact assessment, because once you are building that, it has to be checked. We needed to see reports from civil engineers. We needed to see approvals from city county. We want to know walipata zile approvals za Kanjo. Na sijui kwa nini Kanjo ijaenda kushika watu huko ndani wenye walikuwa wanajenga. Vile wanakujanga kutushika kwa mtaa. A lot of things need to happen before that happens. And then it's on public land. So I'm glad that this matter has gone to court. I'm glad that a date has been given, and I'm hoping that the court are going to stop this. Not because it is wrong to build a church, it is okay to build a church, but because it is wrong to do it in the way it has been done and in the place it has been done.
Yeah, the next guy could be a Muslim.
Yeah. And this is what happened, because I also remember Ali Hassan Joho made the same mistake. He used his thorax and went to Mamangina, which is a public site, and built a very big mosque at Mamangina. That is not supposed to have happened. We don't have a problem with Islam as a religion, but we have a problem with these things happening in public places. And because then if you build a church at State House, then you should build a mosque, you should build a shrine for Vai, you should build a place for these people of the Bhagavad Gita and so on and so forth. So we can't turn State House into such kind of a place. I mean, President Kibaki was known. He would wake up and he would come to either Holy Family Basilica, or many times he used to go to Westlands Consolata. You'd find him there attending mass, and he hated the media when he was attending mass. He used to say it's a very private affair. Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta knew that he could have built a church in State House, but he never did that. He actually always woke up and went to the nearest Catholic church, and he did his mass there. So this has got to stop.
Let us first work on our spiritual churches. You know, first work on your heart, work on your soul, before you deal with, before you think of building a huge church that God bless 1.2 billion that you purport to be using from your pocket. I heard some MPs say, you know, you're building a church and you're lying to us about it already, because there's no way you're chucking 1.2 B from your pocket to build this church. We know this is part of the money allocated to State House as a construction site, as it has been known for the longest now.
Correct.
So there's no way you are building a church and you're lying to Kenyans about it. It loses meaning even if, in the first place.
As a country, have made our statement.
Okay.
And I think the person who needs to hear the statement has had it. The person who needs to hear the statement is William Samoei Ruto, and he's had it. By the way, let me tell you something. If you want to pass a message to William Ruto, and this is extremely serious, you just need to say, SHA is not one-term working, and the paper pots are supposed to have been taken over one term, and then you say the capitation to school one term is not working because school's one term capitation is not happening, and then you say things like, you just need to look at what is not happening in the country and then add the word one term inside those words. Because what will happen, they have this magical, I think it's an engine that picks one term, and so anytime they come back to respond to you, they will only respond to the word one term. You will say SHA is not working, they will say two term. You will say something is not working, they will only the only thing they hear is the word one term. And so even if you want to talk about them giving us beans, you have to say, oh, the beans that you're giving us one term has EVs or beans. Now imagine in that sentence, hataskia beans na hataskia EV, hataskia to your one term. So I think they stay like this, akisikia one term wanamka, then they stay like this one term. So they have a way they respond to one term that makes it work. So the message has been passed by Kenyans. I think the next 2 years, what we need to do is to stay at home and continue singing one term everywhere we go. Tukienda football team, so that we just remind them that we are tired of fighting with you, and the only thing we want to tell you is that we are waiting for you at the ballot.
But just do the right thing. You will not give Kenyans a reason to go through the streets. Kenyans will go to the streets for as long as they think you're not doing the right thing. And also because they do not want the momentum to die. People want change, and the change they know can only happen in 2027 through the ballot. Because there are law-abiding Kenyans who do not want to overthrow any government or to stage any coup, they keep chanting this one-term thing and keep saying Ruto must go as a reminder to everyone around the country who cares about reforming the country that we have a mission. Not because Ruto should be very scared and uncomfortable, but they are reminding themselves that we have a mission. When the time comes, please let us not relent. Let us not sit back. Let us come out and execute exactly the change we have been fighting for.
Kenya have gotten to a place, initially would ideally have wanted to have the right people within IBC. We've gotten to the place where we are saying we have the wrong people. But the idea of one term is so resoundingly clear that it doesn't matter who is in IBC. It has gotten to a point that you can be sent there as an IBC official, but ukiangalia hizo kura hata wewe unashindwa vile zitaibiwa.
Utaanza na formula gani?
So you just announce them as they are. So I wish to request Kenyans that, and to tell them, I wish to make it very clear, I'm not happy with IBC as it is constituted. But guess what? Right now, it doesn't matter how it's constituted. If we vote so strongly and so overwhelmingly against this administration, it doesn't matter who is IBC chair. He'll have no choice but to announce the will of Kenyans. DCP leaders being arrested, left, right, and center, and being charged actually with treason. It's unfortunate. I saw even the MP Mukunji was arrested yesterday.
The Manyata MP.
And the Manyata MP. And one of the reasons that we feel baffled as a people is that when the media goes to the bulk of these constituencies and asks them, why are you people burning up your place? People are honest, they tell you, the young people we are seeing on our streets, we don't even know them. We've not seen them. They are not from here. We don't know where they are coming from. Like the young people who burnt the Kikuyu court. Watu wa Kikuyu walikuwa nasema, honestly, you know, those videos were being shared later. They were saying, we don't know these people. We've never seen these people. We don't know where they are coming from. And so we are asking government, before we go into making people even more disillusioned and to hate you even more, let us ask ourselves, why are we arresting the people who, in our view, we believe are the wrong people? Because the right people are walking out there. I have always told this administration, there is an MP who came on national TV and promised that I'm going to bring Pokot warriors on the streets and they are going to beat up Gen Zs. That person is free. There's a governor who came and said, mulinikuta last time siko tayari, this time na mtakuta nimejitayarisha. And he promised on national TV that he's going to send goons to beat up Gen Zs. That governor is free. There is an MCA who woke up and he was shouting at Kenyans and he was saying how they are going to make sure that they show discipline and beat up people and do all sorts of things. That MCA, as we speak, is still walking scot-free. But the people who kept quiet and stayed at home and did nothing have been arrested and the bulk of them are being arraigned. We feel this is a travesty of justice. We want to see some of these people who have threatened Kenyans with bringing goons and beating them up being arrested and being arraigned in court.
So when's the next one? You still haven't answered my question. When's the next demo? Do we know?
We are praying that we don't have another Albert Ojwang who will hit his head on the wall and kill himself.
Yes.
And then Kenyans will get outraged because that might lead to another maandamano.
Right.
So if you ask me, Kenyans are not looking forward to the next maandamano.
Okay.
They're actually losing a lot of money and lives.
Good point.
Let them not give people reason to go to the streets.